Huskers are home this week with a really good chance to get a win, and boy do they need it. The Blackshirt defense actually played an incredible game until the wheels fell off, and understandably so, Gary. They were out on the field way too often, as I don't want to name names, but Jeff Sims continuously handed the ball back to them.
In their territory.
Hit the like button for us and tell us in the comments, what do you predict for this game against Northern Illinois? Upon hearing that they beat Boston College, I was pretty worried until I watched Boston College, Gary. And these guys barely beat Holy Cross. Then Northern Illinois goes on to lose to Southern Illinois, which might as well be a fake made-up Bishop Sycamore style college. So in my opinion, and I've been right week 1 and week 2, I think we're going to win this game.
You think win no matter who the quarterback is?
That's a good point and a good question. I definitely am ready for Haarberg to get the start. It does seem like Rule is going to trot out Sims if he can.
I think the vast majority, obviously, of people are ready to move on from Sims, at least for the time being. Instead of trying to expect him to get these turnover issues fixed in a game, get them fixed, and then put him in a game. But I really don't understand if he does roll him out there, even if he's cleared to play, because the one thing he does well for us is runs the ball. Coming off of, barely a full week of a sprained ankle and expecting him to be able to do that, or him having that option to do that, to kind of not have to stand there and throw and do the thing that he's not good at. I just pray that if he does get the start, that he's on a very short leash, and as soon as things don't look good, one of the other guys is in there, because this is a very winnable game. They're second and third level, especially those DBs, when we were watching the playbacks of the first 2 games, out of position a lot, not very good at tackling. There's definitely opportunities for our offense to start getting a little bit of momentum and gelling and seeing what the offense is actually supposed to look like. We just got to hang on to the ball. I think it's dumb putting him out there regardless, whether he's healthy or not. I think you're sending mixed messages to the team when Grant gets benched for an entire game for 1 fumble. You got a guy that single-handedly loses you 2 games and is hobbled, and it's like, well, if he's good, we're putting him in there. So we'll see. I just hope that if he does go with him, it's on a real short leash. Like, he literally needs to earn the next series type of a short leash.
Yeah, the more I think about it, it doesn't really make any sense to play Jeff Sims if his ankle isn't good enough for him to be explosive. If he goes out there and his explosiveness is hampered by the ankle, why would you have him out there when you could just as easily have Haarberg out there with 2 ankles and just see what you can accomplish in a positive way? Since the last 2 weeks, we really haven't been able to see much of anything positive because we just keep handing the ball over. Not to say that Haarberg is going to be completely mistake-free or anything like that, but you have to think it cannot get worse than 8 turnovers in 2 games.
I mean, I think this is going to be obviously I don't want to say easy, but the easier of the 3 games. Their offensive line looks like it's not the greatest. Their running back, we saw him get blown up how many times trying to help pass protect. So, I mean, the way the defense has been playing, the way we're getting to the quarterback and we're finally getting sacks, things like that, I think between that and as well as we've been tackling, they run a lot of RPO option style offense out of a lot of jet sweep. Always got a man in motion. Sometimes he gets the snap. A lot of times it's misdirection. So I think they're going to probably try to run once that quarterback keeps getting hit, because I don't really have any question whether or not we'll get to him. It's just, like you said, depending on, I don't care who the quarterback is, if the turnovers start early or even at any point, you've got to make changes quickly, because this is the game. I think this is the game that everybody wishes was week 1. You have that team where you can kind of work out the kinks and get the actual real game chemistry going on both sides of the ball. And we had to go up to Minnesota. They had their sellout, then you back it up with going to Boulder for their big sellout. It sucks to be 0-2, especially when all the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, but you have a chance to balance everything out before you get back into Big Ten play and got to play Michigan. So it's like the whole stubbornness of this is my guy. I don't care who the guy is. If it's stifling the offense's development and kind of momentum and building that up, that's what you want these 2 weeks for, man. You really want to try and get just the mistakes worked out. I mean, you would hope by game 3 the mistakes are out and you're trying to build on something. But like you said, we don't know what we have. We don't know what there is to build on, because plays stop short and defense is right back out there. So is there anything you saw when we were watching that gives you any kind of concern on either side of the ball with what Northern Illinois does?
I mean, I'm very happy to say not really. I do like their quarterback.
Yeah.
Rocky Lombardi.
They got a pretty quick running back. When I heard Rule say they got a really good defensive line, I was like, oh, shit, okay. And then I'm looking and it's like, Yeah, I mean they're decent. They're definitely the best part of their defense, but I don't think that they're better than like Minnesota's was or anything. So I don't think that there's a big hang up there. But their quarterback, man, he's tough. We saw him take some hits. He's relatively accurate. There's a handful of times where he kind of underthrows or overthrows guys. There's some plays. I want to say it was the Southern Illinois game we were watching. I can't remember, but it was like back-to-back plays where he had a guy wide open in the middle of the field, but the guy had to like kind of dive or leap for the ball, so the play died there instead of the guy and the receiver being able to keep going. Factor in the pressure if we can start getting to him, and the way our linebackers and DBs have all been playing in the past game. I don't think that would be too much of a threat for too long. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to kind of gouge us, especially as deep as we play in that secondary with those run plays and those quick screens that they like to do just to keep kind of the mindset that we were trying to do that I was talking about last week with Colorado. Like just keep grinding the clock out and keep their offense off the field. But they might come out right away and be like, no, we want their offense on the field every chance we get because we're just going to get the ball back in good field position. But not a lot for me that is really causing concern. But at the same time, there's not a lot where I'm really excited like, oh, this receiver should be able to go off. This running back should be able to do whatever, because it's just I'm where I should have been last week when you were right with what you were saying of, it's coming. I've kind of gotten into that mode of like I'm expecting turnovers and I'm expecting dumb penalties. It's just a matter of when and how crucial. Like this game should be a few score win, and I have a bad feeling that it's going to be a really close game coming down to the end because of the mistakes, rather whichever side wins.
We've kind of crossed past each other like ships in the night, man. I'm feeling rather optimistic, and specifically because I'm not where I was last week. Last week when we were arguing about what was going to happen privately, I was telling you that I'm not convinced that our defense is back or capable of doing what they did against Colorado. And they just showed so much heart and grit and talent. And it wasn't just us thinking that. During the live stream, you had all kinds of comments from non-Husker fans in there saying, man, your guys' defense is legit. And
yeah.
So watching Southern Illinois and Boston College blow their offensive line to smithereens, crack their running back into the dirt, and tee off on their quarterback, I think our defense is going to feast and get some turnovers and score for the Huskers, and that's going to take some pressure off of offense.
When you say like we kind of cross-switch sides, you could argue Grant's fumble, and you could bring up other things and make a case, but I'm just saying, to me, the most clearly of a defense actually forcing a turnover against us was Grant's fumble. All the other turnovers are Sims, unless you want to hang the snapping into the guy in motion on silent count, and either the guy in whatever, like kind of splitting hairs with that. But if you're giving the ball away on unforced turnovers, like you're literally giving it away, they're not taking it from you. I don't know how you beat anybody, man. There's for sure teams worse than Northern Illinois. So they're a scrappy team. They win, they do their thing. So it's like him still being dead set that he's rolling out with Sims if he's healthy. And I don't know if he's doing that for confidence, already knowing no matter what, we're holding him out. If nothing else, we're telling the team and him it's injury-wise. But I'm going to go in front of the media and I'm going to say, that's my guy. I'm sticking with him so that the whole team knows it keeps him confident. And then you go in the locker room and you go, dang it, that ankle just ain't right. Haarberg's going to go. Whatever the case may be. But if Sims rolls out there Saturday night as the starter, I don't have a shred of confidence that we're going to win that game, let alone do what we're supposed to do and build things on the offense. I'm hopeful that if Haarberg or Purdy is playing or they're switched, sharing snaps, that happens. But, for the 2 games in a row, like every time the ball snapped, you just kind of like holding your breath. And again, you can't just hand the other team the ball and expect to win. I don't care how good or bad they are. It's one thing if our offense looked like our defense, right? Chemistry and aggressiveness and all that, and we scored more than we punt, then yeah, I mean, you can make up for some turnovers or, mistakes. Those things get hidden. But we don't. It's these long drives. A lot of times Peter's out on 3rd down, so we've got to punt a lot. You can't give them more possessions than you're already giving them because you're not able to score. So, I mean, that's like, yeah, no shit. We know that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't have the confidence or I don't have anything that I've seen to be like, well, Sims had a couple bad turnovers, but the defense made these great plays here, and here. That's where those turnovers come from. No, most of them, he just throws it to them. fumbling snaps, whatever. We've beat that into the ground, but I basically I don't even have a real prediction for the game because I just feel like you got two very very polar opposite possibilities of how the offense could go. More the same, we're just giving the ball away, and that if that's the case, I would say Nebraska probably loses. Maybe they luck out and win at the end. If you're right with what you're saying, the defense scores, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I was kind of thinking that, but if we just maintain possessions and play halfway smart football, I think it'd be a pretty decent sized win.
Yeah, I really think our defense is going to be able to hold these guys to 10 points or under. And then we just have to out-muscle them for a couple of running touchdowns or a pick six, something like that, fumble recovery, punt block. It's not a great place to be, though, where you're terrified of your starting quarterback passing the ball. Mm-hmm. It's embarrassing and it's terrifying. I think you're probably right about see if Jeff can go in the first half. If it's not going well, his ankle isn't right. We're gonna have Haarberg take some snaps. That way you can protect and insulate Jeff Sims from some criticism if he hasn't turned the ball over 2-3 times. But for me, all the optimism and belief of him being something that the Huskers can be excited about as fans, that's all gone.
If he comes out and they simplify the game plan and, playing in theory a lesser opponent, he looks good, it's a win running away. He could do that the next 2 weeks. And I'm still not going to be super confident when we go to play Michigan that all of a sudden the kind of deer in the headlights locking into receivers almost, it just kind of seems like the moment's too big for him. And I don't mean that like he's scared or he's doing whatever. It's just like when all the little things are going wrong, you're usually not very focused or very dialed in on the big picture of what you're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? It's almost like those types of mistakes to me is just like I feel like in his head, he's thinking 9,000 things at once while a play's developing or while he's yelling out the cadence to get the snap. And it's like, you've got to be locked in, especially in the bigger games like that. But I just don't understand how you get that, how you get the mental side. The dude's got physical talent and skills for sure. And typically where you see things on film that need to be fixed or worked on, you just drill the piss out of it in practice. Well, I don't know how you drill, and I could be wrong. I'm not a psychiatrist or whatever, but I mean, I don't know how you drill like to get all the noise and thoughts out of your head and just be focused, be dialed in on like the big picture, which is that drive, so to speak, and not whatever's going on that makes all these mental errors happen.
I know what you mean, and I know you don't have a prediction, but I'm feeling something like 24-10 Nebraska. Nothing super impressive. You should be able to stomp these guys. Mm-hmm. With the way our defense played, you should just suffocate them and be able to run down their throat. But it ain't gonna play out like that. So I can't give us more than 24 points.
I'm going to give you a fence-sitting answer and go two scenarios. If we have 3 or more turnovers, I think we lose 17-20-ish. If we have 2 or less, I think we get into the 30s, low 30s, say 32, 34, and I'm kind of with you, like they're around that 10, maybe 13 mark.
Well, tell us what you guys think in the comments below. You have a prediction for the game score-wise. Can't wait to see you guys for the live stream. It was really fun versus Colorado, even though we got the L. And once again, we've opened a Discord for the channel, so if you want to join, that link is in the description. We'll see you guys Saturday night. Until then, go Big Red.